Spanish. Hi, Ricardo. Hi, Marcelo. Oh, some folks from Brazil are here. Hi, guys. I'm from Brazil too. So let me properly introduce myself. I am Fernanda, community manager at Turing. I am happy to be driving many projects and initiatives for our boundaryless community of Turing developers. And we are here today in this town hall to congratulate you for being part of our top 1% vetted developers, which means that you have been through the vetting process, you have passed our technical tests. So congratulations on that. And we know that right now you are wondering, okay, what's next? When do I start getting the jobs I want? And this is why we're here today, to answer those questions that you have so that you can meet some of our team members, our head of matching, our head of support, and we can answer these questions that you have. And most importantly, give you some tips, insights, and ideas on things you can do to boost your matchability in our system, increase your chances of getting matched. This process is a process that depends upon multiple factors. There are many things involved in being matched to a US job, but of course there are definitely things that you can do, like improving your resume, improving your profile. So this is what we will be talking about today. Let me take a few minutes to quickly introduce our Turing team members who will be here chatting with you today. As I said before, I'm Fernanda Zinger, community manager, and I will be here along with Matko, our head of matching at Turing, Aditya, from the head of support at Turing, and we always like to invite one of our developers who have been through the same process that you guys are going through and are now enjoying a top US remote job with one of our partner companies. We have had buddies here, a full stack developer from Algeria. Last time we had Pedro from Brazil, and today we have Erick Keller, also from Brazil. He is a full stack developer hired through Turing. So he will be here today sharing a little bit of his story with Turing, maybe answering any questions that you might have for him, right? I will start by covering some of the very frequent questions that you guys usually bring to us. Okay, so we have selected the top 3 most frequently asked questions. Then we'll have Matko jump on stage to talk to you guys about what our matching process is all about and things you can do to increase your chances of being matched. Okay. Then you guys will meet Erick, as I said before, and the stage will be yours. We will open for your questions and answers. So please, guys, go there to enter any questions that you might have. So if you have very specific things or very individual feedback that you need from us, please go to support@turing.com and we can give you some individualized or personalized support from there. Okay. So as I said before, those most frequently asked questions that you have, the first is, I have completed my technical Turing test and have passed the technical interview. What is next? Okay, the next step should be the onboarding call that you will be invited to. But mind that it can be time-taking from the moment you have completed the technical Turing test until you are invited to an onboarding call. It depends, as I said before, it depends upon multiple factors. So please be patient. We kindly ask that you're patient at this point because our matching team is constantly working on finding the perfect jobs for you, right? Now, if you're asking, my skills match the client's requirements, how do I really increase my chances of getting matched? As I have just mentioned, our matching team is actively finding the perfect job for you. And although this sometimes can be time-taking and you will have to be a little bit patient, if you want to increase your matching potential, we would suggest that you try a few of the following things, right? Maybe do some research on the rate per hour of the position that you are negotiating. Maybe you can adjust or even decrease your rate per hour a little bit. That would increase your chances of being matched as well. Taking additional tests at the Turing platform to increase your chances of getting matched quickly. So Matko will be here in a few minutes, and he will be talking to you guys a little bit more about this. But yeah, make sure to take and pass as many tech stack tests as possible. Proving that you have a range of skills will make you eligible for multiple roles. And then increase your chances of being matched as well. Through the Turing test, you have the opportunity to demonstrate mastery in an array of tech stacks that you are familiar with. So maybe even if you do not consider yourself a master or a big expert, it's worth studying a little bit, preparing yourself, and taking more tests with any programming languages and tech stacks that you are a little bit familiar with. Can I get feedback about my application? Yes, that's possible. Okay, all you have to do is drop us a mail at support@turing.com. We can check with the client and the matching team and provide you with some individualized feedback as soon as possible, right? Mind that it might take some time to process all the applications before we can really provide you with individual feedback. But as I said, you can always reach out to us at support@turing.com. Okay. Now, guys, when it comes to a journey that every developer goes through our platform, this is basically what the stages are. So you have passed vetting. As I said, congratulations on that. You passed the technical test, the IT. Now you're going through the matching process. Okay, this is exactly where you are. So at this point, I'm gonna call Matko, our head of matching, to jump on stage with us. And he can talk to you a little bit about finalizing your resume, taking additional tests, as I mentioned before, improving your skills in order to get the job offers that you want. Matko, why don't you join us here?
Hi, Fernanda. How are things in Brazil?
Things are, I mean, with the whole COVID situation going on here, vaccination is a little bit slow. I wouldn't say things are super great, but yeah, we have this positive spirit and we go on. What about Croatia?
In Croatia, it's summer, it's hot, and for a change, everyone is looking forward for Monday because our team has qualified in the next quarter of European Soccer Championship, and the next match is on Monday, so we are looking to beat Spain. Usually we hate Mondays, as every sane person does, but yeah, what can you do?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, Matko, I'll give you the stage so you can guide these guys through our matching process.
All right.
Okay?
I'll try to do my best here.
Yes. I will see you soon then.
All right. Just a second. Hi, my name is Matko, and I'm currently leading a team of people responsible for, let's call it, developer selection and hiring with fast-scaling startups and corporate entities across the US, right? So some of you have met me already. Some are meeting me for the first time, and hopefully there's more of you that are meeting me, right? So if you already did meet me and did everything that I advised you to do, and you're still waiting for something to happen, please post your questions into Q&A. So in this presentation, I'll shed some light on how our matching system works. If you have passed our tests and you find yourself not knowing what to do next, and that nothing is happening for you, most probably your profile has not been highlighted by our matching. Fortunately, there are ways to fix this, but first you need to understand why would you need to fix it in the first place. So Turing works with multiple clients in the US, and they are sending in their requests on a daily basis, right? So whenever such a request comes along, several things happen. Our algorithm flags people if things are suitable for the job. My team takes a look, does some additional checks, and we get in touch with developers, onboard them, explain what to expect, and connect them with the client, right? And after that, there are other things that do happen, but some other teams will explain you this. In order to get flagged by our algorithm for any specific job, you need to give us some data, right? And you have been giving us that from the moment you signed onto the platform. You entered your name, your expertise, your skill set, and other things. And most importantly, you took our live coding interview and Turing tests. So in order to even be here, you have passed some of our tests. You saw them, right? So most of you have took several. Most of you have took these tests in the technologies you are proficient with. And most probably you have taken bare minimum of these, just enough of them to gain entry to the next step, which was the live coding interview. So while taking the bare minimum of these tests gives you an entrance to the interview, it doesn't really do much in the context of the matching process. So client requests that came in rarely ask for a single tech. And I think just recently, so the client was looking for a senior Ruby on Rails developer with some experience in Python or Node, with experience in GraphQL, AWS, Docker, CI/CD, Elasticsearch, Terraform, SQL, and Redis. So all of this from a single person, right? So when faced with this request, our algorithm will take a look in the database and pick out a selection that matches as closely as possible. So if you happen to be a Ruby on Rails developer who took Ruby test, but never really bothered taking AWS, Docker, or GraphQL, because you didn't consider these to be relevant to your core expertise, you would end up not appearing on the algorithm shortlist, or you would be positioned so low that we would never see you. So almost all of these that do come in are as complex as this one, right? So clients are always looking for one or two core skills, like Ruby, like Python, like React, and bunch of what we call supporting skills. I'm sorry, my throat is a bit killing me. So in order to help yourself and help us, you'd need to go back and take some of these tests that you missed first time around, thinking them not important. Now, don't go back and take any random test you can think of, thinking that the sheer number of those must definitely help you out. So go back and take the tests that you have professional experience with, things that you have worked with in the past and are confident that you can use them on a live project. So having a result on this test and having a good result on a test is just the first step that our algorithm looks at. So the second step, in which we verify whether the test you took makes any sense in the context of your general experience, would be your CV. So while registering on the platform, most of you have used your trusty old CV that you've been sending around for a while, which you possibly updated last time you switched the job and then forgot all about it. I know I used to do that. So most of them have been written in a shorthand, listing some skill or the other, writing a few lines about your role in the company, listing your email address, and so on. So while this may be good enough to gain entry into some companies, our clients are, once again, slightly more demanding. So I'll go over a few examples to show exactly what I mean. So take these two. Let's say they belong to you and that you just did what I told you to do and went back and took a GraphQL test and got a good score. So if your CV looks like this, we just think that you took GraphQL for the fun of it. So our algorithm wouldn't have any context for the skill. We would not have any context for the skill. The client wouldn't have any context for that skill, that specific skill. But if you take a closer look at these examples, not mentioning GraphQL is not the end of it. So reading this, we have no idea what your core language was, what kind of database you used, was deployment done locally or on the cloud, what was your exact role here, where you're just handling tasks that you were given, or you were giving tasks yourselves, right? So maybe you were an architect, maybe you were a lead, maybe you were a CTO. We have no clue. All we see is that you migrated some legacy code to the new platform of the company. You did some backend work, you did some front-end work, you did some product migration. And as you might imagine, if someone is reading your CV and has more questions than answers, it doesn't really fare well. So these two examples come from developers who are currently working with our clients. And if you take a closer look, you'll see obvious differences from the previous ones immediately. So skills here are properly tagged. Screenshots are attached. Clients, of course, like to see what exactly have you been working on, especially if you are a front-end or mobile developer, right? So you can imagine why that would be important. You can see the scope of the role these people had. So this one received instructions, and this one was a team lead, right? You can see what technologies they used, not just with these skills here, but with a written explanation here. You can see the context of that usage. You can see the outcome of the project, both personal achievements and more general outcome. And if you add some metrics here, and you'd have a perfect thing, right? Our algorithm would have some context for the skills that you took. We would have some context to understand your experience as a developer, and the client would have some context to make a decision whether he wants to work with you or not. So think on it, spot the differences, right? You can always ask us on support to send you this example. We can always send it out just to figure it out. So once you set up writing it like this, it's easy to go overboard. So this third example has all the details that we'd want, but it's way too long, right? It's a rare occasion that the client would have patience to go through the entire novel. So whatever you write, it needs to have proper content, but it needs to be effective and punchy. Concise would be the word. Think of your CV as a sales pitch, and the better it is, the better the outcome will be. So we understand that not everyone finds resume writing easy. We understand that writing this up in a foreign language you may not have experience writing in, apart from coding, might be difficult. But my team will help you out with polishing, with proper grammar, with formatting, and things like that. But before we are in a position to do that, you need to do some things yourself. So in order to come to this point where our team gets in touch with you, when you get in touch with clients, you need to go back, take some tests that you omitted, and revisit your CV. So you go back, log into Turing platform, go to Finalize My Resume tab, and really take some time to really polish this up. So in order to summarize all of this, there's this handy slide. It just reiterates what I just said with simpler words. So essentially, see what kind of skills you can additionally take on. Invest some time in building your Turing resume. Describe the role, describe the responsibility, tag all the skills, add screenshots, describe how exactly you use those skills. Avoid talking about the products. Some people do spend tons of text describing what a certain application does, how can user do it, right? Neither we nor the clients do essentially care about it. We want to see what was your role building that product, not what the product exactly does, right? And if you have them, sometimes you have them, sometimes you don't have them, depending on the role that you took. Describe your impact to the product or the service that you built with some sort of a metrics, right? Because everyone likes a good number showing improvement, whether you improved something by 50%, 30%, 20%, as long as it is improvement and if it's measurable, it should be fine. So thank you once again for listening. Thank you, Fernanda, for once again inviting me. I'll be around to answer your questions later after all is done. So I'm leaving you back into Fernanda's hands for now.
Thank you, Matko. I am absolutely sure that has been super helpful and insightful to our developers who are going through our matching process. I hope Matko has clarified many of your questions and queries. You guys, if there are any questions that you want to ask Matko, please go to our questions and answers box and send it there. Matko will be back shortly on stage for the questions and answers. Now let's meet Erick. As I said before, he's from Brazil. He joined Turing November last year. Hi, Erick. How are you?
Hello. All good.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
So Erick is also from Brazil, but we are in different parts of the country. Not that far away, though, right,
Yep.
Erick?
Yeah.
How's the weather there today? Here is cold.
It's cold, but I like it. I love it.
Yeah, me too, especially because in summertime, Brazil can be really hot. We kind of melt. So so just why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself to these folks here today. So the stage is yours.
Cool. Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for joining this town hall. My name is Erick Keller. As Fernanda said, I'm from Brazil. I'm 36 years old. I'm married and have a 6-year-old son. I was born and raised in Rio de Janeiro, but now I'm in Minas Gerais, so that's higher up in the mountain. So I get a nice 10 degrees here. I love it. I'm a senior full stack developer and working for a Turing customer for 6 months now. And I've been around the IT industry for more than 18 years. When the internet was affordable in Brazil, I got my own PC. I was around 10 or 12 years old at the time. And as soon as I start seeing sites in the internet, I was immediately hooked up to and curious to see how that worked. And in fact, at the time, it was very simple, not elegant, but very simple. It was just HTML and CSS later and all those tables. Let's forget about that. And the upcoming years, I learned HTML, CSS on my own. Then JavaScript, PHP, and SQL database. To give you all a little more background, I've been working remotely for more than 4 years now. So I know the pain about working on offices, and I would never go to the office again. For example, there was a job that I worked in the past that I took 4 hours of commuting. So it was 2 hours to get there, 8 hours of work, and 2 hours to get home. Just
Yeah. If you do the math of how much you have spent in traffic by the end of a month,
yeah,
that's
that's
frustrating,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I stood there, and that was actually the fact why I quit the job, because I stood there for I think 2 years, and then I said I can't take this anymore. Before during the Turing, I've been on other remote first company and outsourcing companies, and here's where I think I can give you guys a good feedback. Either if this will be your first remote job or you also have been in other companies. I found Turing on LinkedIn when searching for a real remote first outsource company that would actually value their employees, both economically supporting benefits and those kind of stuffs that Fernanda showed you, like the contests and all the community we have around. That's very cool. In the previous companies in general, the process was very slow compared to Turing. And often we don't even have an answer back, right? So this is not something that happens here. When I signed up for Turing, I was instantly amazed, as you guys might have been too, on how the system filled up my resume from a PDF file. Almost everything, I just have to make small tweaks. And tips on my resume, my personal resume, I usually put a brief paragraph, 1 line or 2 lines about the company itself, 1 or 2 bullets, 3 at max, of what was your role and what you were able to accomplish as a value for the company or the company client, and yeah, together with metrics. For example, I was able to increase the performance time for rendering the page for more than 75%. So there are some metrics that you can put there. And then the technologies that I used on each project. And as Matko showed, you have those technology tags for each one of them. Make sure to put that in. He mentioned that is important. It is indeed important. And then I took every possible test that I could. Something that Matko also mentioned,
Yeah. Yeah.
that will absolutely skyrocket your chances, because let's say that a company is asking for a position for a JavaScript and a database. Very simple here, but you only took the test for JS. You didn't take for database, so you won't get matched, and you could successfully fill that role. Okay, so the main technologies I work with are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then later on, you can say TypeScript, React Native, Angular, Vue, Ember, and many more. And why is that? Because they are all frameworks built upon JavaScript. You certainly and quickly can learn another the framework of your choice. The first one you want to learn, then you go to the next one. Basically, what's gonna happen is different styles of coding, basically, and different syntax. Let's say it's just like jQuery. I didn't want to say that. Let's forget jQuery also. I've been there. Uh, and on the back end, C#, .NET, PHP, Node.js, Express, and then, of course, many of the frameworks that you have inside PHP and Node.js, for example, Express, WordPress, Laravel, Next.js, Nest.js. I could go on here forever because every day we have new technologies and frameworks. But yeah, that's a good tip if you don't really know exactly the foundations. Let's say you are proficient in Angular, you are proficient at that framework, but that's all built upon JavaScript. So if you know everything about JavaScript, you will be much more familiar and easier to learn another framework. But in all that, my humble opinion though, is that the main language that you want to know, it's not for programming, but it's English. I'm not talking about accent here, because we all have accents from different countries, that's normal. But not only reading, but speaking, you can show that you can hold a conversation with the client. I think that is something that the client pays attention to if you're able to communicate well, because in the end, everyone's going to be talking in English. And you also should be familiar with agile technologies, right? So Scrum and Kanban or whatever is there. So you will have daily stand-ups and one-on-ones, and you need to be able to communicate well.
Yeah, for sure. And following some meeting etiquettes, especially the guys here, developers who are attending this town hall today and might be invited to an onboarding call soon. Make sure you have meeting etiquette, keep your camera on, be polite, make sure you don't have a huge background, noisy background, right? Big noises in the background. So all those are good tips for sure. Absolutely. Those make a huge difference in the outcome of the process.
Yeah, awesome. So to wrap it up, I would like to share what I love most about Turing is their support. Of course, we are holding this town hall right now, and you saw that you have open communication, not just here on this stream, but also through emails, and all the clients are amazing. You will always be working with many talented people, awesome team members, and it's great to share experience. I feel like when you are in this environment of very talented engineers, you can always teach something and always learn something. And I value this very much. I think this is great. And of course, the payment is on sharp. Like the first days of the month, you get your payment. I used to have a lot of headaches in the past with other companies where when I got my payment, my bills were already late. There was nothing else that I could do because it goes to intermediary, then it goes to our local bank. So there are some times in there, between there. And the payment rates are above the average for every one of them. There's no doubt in that. And I look at it as treating us as valuable, right? So we are worth this money, right?
Absolutely. This is we value a lot the talent that we bring into our pool. And one main promises to our developers, and one that we accomplish every time, is steady income. We know that it's part of many developers out there. The reality of their lives is going after gigs and chasing payments, and sometimes there are delays, and or sometimes you are not even paid at all. And this is why we like to say that Turing is like every engineer paradise, because we will always pay you on time every time to provide you with the stability that you deserve. Because there comes a certain point that you cannot take this unstable situation anymore, right? You need to have that stability.
Yeah, and you have reliable and confident works. They have no reason to look out for anything else. That gives a peace of mind. And of course, I could share a little more about the working from home. So that's absolutely amazing. I have my separate space here for working, and it's a pleasure to work from home and not have to commute anymore.
Yes, we are remote work advocates at Turing, right? We are, as Erick said, we are really a real remote first company. This is so nice. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm on quarantine for 4 years, so no COVID here.
Yeah, I can relate. Okay, Erick, that was so nice. So nice. Thank you. I'm sure this was super insightful. Erick is a software developer like you guys, and he has been through the whole process that you are going through right now. So it's always nice to have a fellow developer sharing his personal experience, sharing some tips. I hope this has been super insightful and helpful to our guests here today. Guys, if you do not follow us on our social media channels, please do, because we keep sharing updates, news. Sometimes we have the product announcements and everything you can keep up to date through these channels, right? At Turing, and you can always search for our hashtags. For this town hall, we have, for the town hall events that we host, we have hashtag TuringDevTownhall, and we have hashtag boundaryless, which is our favorite hashtag ever, right? Now, before we jump to the question and answers part, you can run for a chance to win a Turing t-shirt. We always like to send out a gift to the guys who attend our town hall. Last time we had a winner. All you have to do is go to Twitter, okay? Follow us there, of course, and you can tweet one takeaway from today's town hall, one thing that you learned, one thing that was insightful for you. Like our most recent winner, he said that spending 2 to 3 hours taking the coding tests is way better than applying to 10, 20 different jobs and doing one interview for each, right? So he said that he enjoyed our town hall and used our hashtags, as you can see there. So he won a Turing t-shirt. Okay, this is the steps you have to take to participate. Share your takeaways, follow us, use our hashtags, and we will select a winner to get our Turing t-shirt. Extra prize here: if you share a picture wearing your Turing t-shirt once you get it, you will get an extra bonus of a $50 Amazon voucher. So as a thank you. So stay tuned to our page for winner announcements, and I am looking forward to seeing what you have tweeted, you guys. I always like to reshare and talk to you on Twitter as well, okay? Okay, so I think the stage is yours now, folks. We're gonna open to your questions and answers. So I want to invite now Aditya from our support team to jump on the stage, along with Matko too. Come on, guys, join us. Let's use the final minutes we have to answer this guy's questions. Okay.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I'm Aditya. I handle developer support at Turing. So essentially, if you ever send out an email to support@turing.com, it's either me or someone from my team who's responding to your queries. I'm from India and glad to be a part of the Turing community. And yeah, look forward to answering your questions and helping you guys out.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so the very first question here we have is from Yitbarak. And I think, Matko, you're the guy to answer it. He's asking, how long is the average waiting time before securing a remote job through Turing?
Well, I mean, I don't have the exact number on top of my head, but the range that can happen is from immediately to up to 2 to 4 weeks. If we're talking about averages, anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, because it takes some time to organize an interview with the client, for the client to make a decision and so on. So from the moment you're done with the onboarding, you can expect to get hired anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks.
Awesome, thank you. Then we have this question here from Mirad. Mirad is asking, thank you for the first question. Mirad is asking, is there any insurance system for Turing developers so we can keep working with Turing forever? We do focus on long-term engagements, long-term successful engagements with our partner companies. And we do not have any specific sort of insurance system, but we do have a quick rematch system. So once you have completed an engagement with one of our partner companies in a successful way, you will be immediately included in our quick rematch, and soon enough you will hopefully be working with another in a new engagement with another of our awesome partner companies. But one important thing is that we focus on long-term engagements. So this is differently from many other remote platforms out there that focus a lot on short term. So it's 3 months, 6 months, and then that's steady, that stability we were talking about gets a little bit hampered, right? Thank you, Mirad, for your question. Okay, I think Aditya can answer Kanish's question. He's asking, will you guys be giving us feedback on our resume? Help us improve it to boost matching. The purpose of these town halls is to be in touch with you guys, give you guys tips on that. So Matko has shared many tips and ideas for you to improve your resume. This is something that we can think about, maybe doing some sort of work.
Yeah, Thanks, Fernanda. So thanks, Kanish, for this question. So we will definitely be interested in giving you feedback. It's actually in our best interest to make sure that you guys get matched as soon as possible, because that's what we're here for. What I recommend is go through the entire vetting process. Once you're done, someone from the team will definitely look at your profile and resume and reach out to you in case they have very specific feedback. In case you want to do it proactively, you can always reach out to us at support@turing.com, and we'll make sure someone from the team reaches out to you and gives you feedback about how you could probably improve your resume. So thanks for the question. Good one, Kanish. I hope I answered it.
Yes, thank you, Kanish. Thanks, Aditya. Rume has one question here that is interesting. I was sent a form to know how soon I can onboard. Does it mean there's an offer for me? Matko can answer.
Yes, actually. So sometimes there is a job requirement that comes in, and our algorithm, and we select a number of people. Let's say that the shortlist consists of 20 people that we think are good to send to this client, but we have no idea, are you available at the moment or not? We could do it manually, call each and every one of you and ask you, are you available to join on a client call or not? But we prefer to do it via email or some other sort of mass communication, because it's easier and quicker. So as soon as you answer that email, someone who is working on that job, who is in contact with that client, will know that you are or you are not available and will get in touch.
Yeah, I guess, Eric, it was like this for you, right?
Yeah, it was.
I saw your thumbs up before.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Matko. Thanks, Eric. And thanks, Remy, for your question. Hope this has been cleared. Ricardo has a question that I think Matko also can answer here. He's asking, what are the chances to find a part-time job? Our main focus is full-time jobs, right, Matko?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, we as a company are focusing on long-term engagements, which in practical sense means that we do not really actively source for part-time opportunities. However, we do work with many clients, and these clients come back to us asking for a developer who can work part-time on a specific project or a simple thing that doesn't require too much time. And they will be asking for someone who can do this. At that point, we will look for people who can work only part-time or who are looking only to work part-time with us, and we will reach out to them. But as a general rule, Turing is providing long-term opportunities, and if you, in the context of pure part-time work, we may not be the best place to be. So the idea is that when you come through our vetting and when you come through our onboarding and when you come through the client call, that you are prepared to work full-time and that you want to work full-time.
Perfect, Matko. Thanks, Ricardo, for your.
I'd just like to add a couple of points here. Thanks, Ricardo, for the question. So to add to Matko's point, typically, if you speak with Erick or other people that we have, the primary advantage of Turing is that once you become a part of the community and start getting placed, it keeps happening. Typically, projects last between 9 to 12 months, right? That's like the average time. After which you get to give us preferences that, hey, possibly some of you might want to work on artificial intelligence. Some people come and say, hey, I want to work on Internet of Things. Some people have requested that we want to work on rockets. We're still trying to accommodate that request. But in general, we try very hard to make sure that everyone gets the job and the role that they really enjoy and does move forward. Like part-time as an opportunity, what we've like experimented with and seen as well is that some people enjoy it, but most people, they start, even if they start part-time, they end up with like full-time gigs with us. So I'd recommend that everyone be ready for just like full-time.
Yeah.
It's well for this thing.
And just to add a few more things, since it is an important question, right? So we know many of you are working at the moment, and it's not that easy to just leave your job for a remote opportunity that you are not quite sure of what's happening. And client knows this, we knows this, and everyone knows this, and no one is expecting you to quit your job and start working full-time immediately. We offer to everyone here, we offer that they start for 6 weeks part-time with us, with an understanding that they will transition to full-time after 6 weeks. So it will give you time to get to know the client, to get to know the new environment, to see if you want to continue working there and so on, right?
Exactly. And on top of all that, we also have a paid trial period, which is absolutely something special about Turing. You might not find in many other remote platforms out there, no matter the outcome of trial. So maybe if trial doesn't go as successfully as you were expecting or something happened there, you will be paid for the amount of time you spent working during trial, which is also a sign of how much we trust our engineers and the talent that we hire. So thank you for the question, and thank you, Matko, Aditya, for your great answers.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a question here from Carlos about taxes. Do we have to pay US taxes or we will receive the full salary?
Yeah, Carlos, thank you so much for asking this question. So unless you're in the US, most likely you won't have to pay any taxes for the US. You'll have to pay local taxes. Typically what happens is that Turing will show you as a person who's working for Turing from a particular country, and we will pay you directly in your bank account in whatever currency it is that you have. So when that happens, you will have to account for taxes by speaking to someone from your local community. But fundamentally, we pay you directly the whole amount, and you're responsible for your own taxes. That's like the broad general scheme. If there is a particular change, you'll be apprised of that during your onboarding. So not to worry about it. But in general, we have hundreds of developers who've been placed, and I don't think anyone needs to worry about the taxes part of it. If anything, this will be better than your local taxes for sure in most cases.
Yeah, and you can always look for a work buddy or even a Turing developer or one Turing team member that is from the same country where you are and ask for advice. Maybe if you're a Brazilian developer, you can get in touch with Erick and get his advice, Erick, on how he does taxes and stuff.
Yeah, if you want, I can share that. For
sure. So that's it. Thanks, Carlos, for your question. Thank you, guys, for answering that. Okay. We don't have much time, guys. We actually have 2 minutes before we wrap here, but there is one question from Victor that I would like to answer. How long does it take to be able to retake a failed task? Is it 3 months, Aditya, Matko?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So thank you, Victor, for asking this question. Essentially, it takes about 3 months. You'll get an email from our side re-inviting you to take tests or LCIs in case you fail them. So don't worry about it. Brush up on your skills, and within 90 days, you'll get an email again. So just watch out for that. Thanks, Victor.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for attending today's town hall. We do hope this has been a great help for you. This has been insightful, and the tips that we have shared here today will help you to boost your matchability in our system. It's a win-win, right? Your success is our success. So we do want you to get the dream remote jobs that you want. Thank you so much, Erick, for being here today with us and sharing your story. I'm sure the guys appreciated it a lot. Thanks again, right? Yes. Thank you, Matko. Thank you, Aditya. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks.
See you.
Thanks. Bye. See ya.